Hi, I'm Andy Sheehan. I'm the town administrator for the town of Middleton, and welcome to the latest video in the series that I'm doing on things happening in and around Middleton. This video is being recorded and published the week of October 5th, 2020. This week's video, I'm going to talk about the recent elevation in Middleton's COVID-19 status, according to the data that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts puts out. Last week, Middleton was moved into the higher risk category. There's a reason for that, and I want to try to provide a little bit of context for that change. So, as I said, last week, Middleton, North Andover, and a number of other communities were elevated from a lower risk category into the higher risk category, or red as it is shown on the state's COVID map. So the higher risk is triggered when a community has more than 8 positive cases of COVID-19 per 100,000 population. Last week, Middleton went to 12.4 cases per 100,000. The week before, we were at 4.2 cases per 100,000. So quite a dramatic change in the course of a 1-week period. On the surface, this is alarming and disconcerting. However, in Middleton's case, there is a simple reason. And in the case of many of the communities, there is a fairly simple reason for the change. The change in Middleton's risk level came about as a result of a spike in positive COVID cases at the Middleton jail on Manning Avenue. As of the end of last week, there were 25 positive cases among inmates at the jail. These 25 new positive cases drive the change in Middleton's COVID risk level. So obviously the inmates at the jail are not out and about in the community. They're an isolated population, and they're confined to the jail. In a conversation last week with the sheriff, Kevin Coppinger, he informed me he's taken steps to contain the spread inside the jail. Any jail staff that has been exposed or is positive will be following the recommendations of the sheriff's office, as well as the CDC and the Mass Department of Public Health. So this is all good news, right? Well, yes and no. It's certainly good news that the recent spike is not the result of community spread in the at-large population of Middleton residents. The bad news is that there's an increase in cases within Middleton's borders. And due to the way that the state reports its COVID data, it is difficult to separate those isolated cases that we see, in our case at the jail, from the at-large population data. And we do not know yet if there will be an update to the map or an asterisk or something that says that the higher risk category has a good reason and is not really applicable. So we're working on that to try to get some progress in that regard. Certain parts of the Reopening Massachusetts plan that the governor unveiled is predicated on consecutive weeks of moderate or lower risk. In order to move on to step 2 of phase 3 of the reopening plan, a community must be outside of the red area for 3 consecutive weeks, outside of the higher risk category for 3 consecutive weeks. Last week's elevation into the higher risk, into the red zone, therefore keeps Middleton in step 2 of phase 3 of the Reopening Massachusetts plan. We're trying to get clarity on this. Like I said, we're trying to make some progress and get some assistance from the state in moving us or allowing us to move forward with reopening and somehow parsing the data in the state map so that we will not be categorized as a higher risk community. The Board of Selectmen will be talking about this at its meeting on Tuesday, October 6th. And our public health officials have been in touch with state public health officials to see if there's any movement available on that. So we'll share updates on that as soon as they're available. So stay tuned to our latest news, emails through our website, as well as posts on social media. So I promised there'd be a quote for each of these videos. This week's quote comes from Melody Hobson. Melody Hobson is a businesswoman and former chairwoman of DreamWorks Animation. The quote continues the theme that I've been sort of harping on, which is to avoid complacency and encouraging people to challenge themselves. So the quote is, "The biggest risk of all is not taking one." Pretty short and sweet and pretty to the point, I think. So reminder to please email me at andrew.sheehan@middletonma.gov with any ideas or requests for topics that you'd like me to address. As I've said in the past, these videos will be far-ranging in topic area and scope, and we'll try to keep them topical. Today's topic was not what I had initially intended to talk about, but I think in light of everything that has happened here in the last few days, it made sense to pivot and go in that direction. So thanks as always to Paul Pellicelli and Adam Stone from Middleton Public Access for recording and producing these videos. Thanks for watching, and until next time, be safe and be well. Thanks.